No one has more state pride than New Mexicans. The vibrant culture, bold flavors, unique history, and dramatic landscapes under our Zia sun are like no other. And the people of New Mexico are a rare breed. As diverse as we are, together we breathe life and soul into this high desert land. A land that promises adventure. I'm Michael Newman, and as your host, I'll be taking you with me as I seek out the best the land of enchantment has to offer.
New Mexico, it feels like home to me. It feels so true. It's time well spent when I spend it with you.
Thanks for watching another episode of New Mexico True Television. I'm your host, Michael Newman. In this episode, we're taking on the Mother Road, Route 66, with a twist. This road cuts across our entire state, meaning it covers a lot of territory. So this week, we're covering the western portion, where we'll venture off the blacktop for a handful of adventures, but make our way back to the main street of America for our creature comforts. So let's go. Gallup sits at the very western edge of our state, 2 hours west of Albuquerque on I-40. Because of its proximity to the Navajo Reservation, Gallup has long been a gateway to the cultural riches of these American Indian lands. But more recently, Gallup has been getting its due acclaim for the incredible outdoor adventures you can have on the outskirts of town, among them, mountain biking. I'm meeting up with local cyclist Andy to get more acquainted with the trail system here. Well, thanks Andy for meeting up with me at this trail, man. What is it about this trail that you like?
The cool thing about this trail is there's two trailheads, one on the east side of town, one on the west side of town. This trail is 100% single track, which is pretty unique, I think. We've got 25 miles of single track.
Oh, wow.
And it's a stacked loop system, which means you can do the first mesa loop on the east side of town, which is beginner friendly. You can go on and add on the second mesa loop, which just is a little more technical.
Okay.
And then third mesa, where we are, is the most fun.
Difficult / fun.
Yeah.
But good. It's, you know, and this landscape is gorgeous because you have a lot of the valleys and peaks. So I'm stoked. Cool. So let's hit it.
All right.
I'm following you though because I'm still a bit of a novice, but you know this better than I do.
All
so
right. Follow
good.
me.
Yes, sir. It's remarkable how you can take a short road off the main street in town and end up in the middle of this landscape. Hoodoos and rock formations abound, and almost serve as landmarks along the trail. Nothing like a good workout while immersed in the stunning scenery of the high desert. There are definitely some technical spots and a good amount of climbing to get to the top of the mesa. This is not for the faint of heart, and if I did not have Andy as my stalwart guide, I may have opted out for one of the more moderate trails, but I'm always up for a challenge, and it's good to get out of my comfort zone. Oh yeah, what a view, man.
Yep.
This is well worth the windedness that I am right now. This is cool. You can see the whole city from here.
Yeah.
That's
It's
great.
the west end of town, and we rode the cream of the crop right here. Yep.
It was treacherous at times, and sometimes it was smooth, but all in all, it was totally worth it. This is, like I said, this is a different side of Gallup I've never seen from this vantage point, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for guiding the way, because I don't know if I could have made it up here
Well.
without you.
And now you have to come back and ride it again.
Oh yeah. So if you're looking for some more trails to ride, there's actually some great trails just east of Gallup in the Zuni Mountains. Make sure you bring your own bike with you, and after burning all those calories riding, stop by Earl's for a Navajo taco or Jerry's Cafe for the Tagusta. And now from the pages of New Mexico Magazine. Just off I-40 and overlooking the city of Albuquerque from its west mesa is Enchanted Trails RV Park and Trading Post. Built in the 1940s, this trading post and modern-day RV park retains all the charm and feel of the golden era of Route 66. Serving as a respite for travelers making their way through the western desert of our state, Enchanted Trails provides amenities for those people traveling in their own camper, and better yet, it offers the unique experience of staying in a restored vintage trailer for the night. These refurbished classics are what led me to Enchanted Trails. While they've been around for decades, there has been a rebirth and fascination with their design and utility. In the days of tiny houses and scaling back, these campers epitomize how much style and function can be packed into a small space. And to think, they were designed 50 or more years ago. Ultimately, nothing evokes the great American road trip like a classic camper. And I was anxious to meet the woman who had the vision to give these trailers a new life on old Route 66. So Vicki, all of these trailers have been refurbished to this utmost degree. Like, yeah, I've never seen anything like it. The attention to detail, it's magnificent. What is it about restoring specifically these kinds of items? But what is it about these things, the Winnebagos and stuff like that?
They're just really well made. The craftsmanship was wonderful, and it just harkens back to a simpler time, and you can see the beautiful woodwork, and, you know, of course, fill them with my fun, you know, items, whether it be, you know, books or suitcases or glassware.
Yeah.
It just really feels good.
It's like you said, that simpler time. That's
Yeah.
cool. And you step into it and it's like, you're there.
You bet.
Right?
You bet.
And like the minimalism of being able to say, hey, I got the thing in the back, I put on my car and like an old antique car and
Right.
just go and you're good to go.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to stop for anything.
You don't have to stop for a thing. You just enjoy it. You've got your bed with you and your pillow with you, and just take off and enjoy the road.
Right. So have you traveled the Mother Road?
Absolutely, I have. You know, New Mexico has got some of the best mileage, if you ask me.
But how do you think Route 66 kind of reintroduced New Mexico or gave people an in to what the Southwest was like?
Well, I think a lot of travelers tend to come from the east and travel west. And so you get to New Mexico and you have these wonderful prairies on the eastern part of the state, and then you come through and you start experiencing the great American Southwest and the beautiful red rocks, the changes in terrain that we have, going from the mountains to the flatlands and the lava beds, and the wonderful pueblos that we have and the reservations. And so I think it really opened people's eyes then and today,
Right.
as to you know, what a wonderful place New Mexico is and how much we have to offer.
Yeah, for sure. It's so true. When the transition happened from Route 66 to the interstate, you know, what do you think, as a traveler, you know, what kind of impact do you think that had on people?
It got people out of the cities, and they just go by now at 75 miles an hour, and they don't actually stop and see the character and the charm of a given place. I think it was really a great loss. So you need to get off the interstate,
Right.
and you need to get back onto the main street.
Right. And I think that was like one of the original things about Route 66. It like curved and went through all the little parts of states that you probably never heard of.
Right.
And, you know, exploring, right? That whole event, you know,
Exactly.
idea.
And truly, I think we're all explorers at heart. But when you're driving down this black ribbon of highway that cut through mountains and cut through the terrain, it's just not the same
Right.
as you say, as you're sloping along, taking the curves,
Yeah.
feeling the breeze and the trees.
You're grounded in the experience,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Enchanted Trails may be retro, but it has everything you need for a great weekend getaway with friends. They have Wi-Fi, grills, billiards, and video games, plus they have a heated pool. And check out the huge refurbished Wurlitzer organ. It is truly one of a kind. For more great stories like this from New Mexico Magazine, visit newmexico.org. Stay tuned for a behind-the-scenes look at what lights up Route 66. Find steals and deals for your next New Mexico vacation at newmexico.org. As vast as the Mother Road is, so is the abundance of culture you will encounter along the way. Highlighted here, Pueblo design and architecture. From ancient pueblos dotting our landscape to the Pueblo revival architecture made popular in the early 20th century, our Native American heritage and architectural styles are prevalent across our state. One of our oldest and continuously inhabited pueblos sits right off Route 66, Acoma Pueblo. Just over an hour west of Albuquerque off I-40 on State Road 23 is this stunning pueblo. The oral history of the Acomas relates this mesa as their spiritual homeland, and the Acoma people have resided on this sandstone bluff since time immemorial. While archaeologists recognize their habitation dating back as far as 1150 AD, recent excavations suggest it may have been inhabited even earlier. Regardless of its dates of origin, Acoma is legendary as a hospitable community receiving wanderers on their journey, sharing the riches of their land and soil. This legacy continues today as Sky City Cultural Center and the Pueblo welcomes thousands of visitors every year. comprised of 250 dwellings, some of which are inhabited year-round, others used to host families during ceremonies, the Pueblo is still at the heart of the community, a place to reunite and celebrate. Take the time to explore the massive San Esteban del Rey mission, appreciate the local pottery, and wander within the adobe structures. You will undoubtedly tap into the uniqueness of this place, for which the name Sky City is a mere hint of its magnitude. The Sky City Cultural Center and Haku Museum is the gateway to the Pueblo of Acoma, and is open 7 days a week, year-round. Visiting the Pueblo is accessible through guided tours. Feast days are another special way to experience the Pueblo of Acoma, but make sure you leave your camera at home on these special occasions. From the remote mesas of our desert to the more cosmopolitan cities within the state, we have embraced the art and architecture of the pueblos like Acoma. And nowhere is this more evident than at the historic Kimo Theater in Albuquerque, one of the most exemplary archetypes of Pueblo Revival or Pueblo Deco architecture we have in our state. Its very name, Kimo, reflects this, a combination of Tiwa words meaning mountain lion. It figuratively denotes the Kimo as king of its kind. Incorporating a myriad of symbols and imagery from native culture, as well as housing 9 wall murals by Carl Van Hassler, it is quite impressive to find all of these artistic elements under one roof, and a roof of carved vigas at that. Every detail is exquisite, every element a treasure unto itself. Reminiscent of our rich native culture, Pueblo Deco created its own signature style, the likes of which we have not seen since. Neon, the most quintessential element of the Route 66 aesthetic. Cruising on America's Main Street, it is impossible to dismiss the beauty and allure of the flashing tubes of light. They pulse and beckon travelers to pull over and stop for the night, or perhaps attend to that hankering in their belly. The neon signs along the Mother Road have become landmarks in and of themselves, symbols representing the American experience. Even those in disrepair, whose light barely lingers or has gone out completely, inspire romanticized images of a bygone era. Neon is Route 66. So it is quite apropos that one of the great neon artisans of this era has a workshop and showroom right on Old Route 66, or Central Avenue in Albuquerque. Absolute Neon is located in Nob Hill, one of Albuquerque's historic commercial districts, and like Robert, this neighborhood relishes its neon, as displayed by some of the newer signs you'll see on this stretch of Central. From Brooklyn, New York, Robert got his start in outdoor lighting advertising in 1973, working as a union electrician in New York City. But lucky for us, he made his way to New Mexico. So Robert, here we are at Absolutely Neon on the old Route 66, and you are part of a dying art and a dying craft, the art of neon signs. So tell me about what it's been like.
It's an industry that people love. People still love neon, so you have to ask yourself, why is it dying, okay? Unless you learn how to do it, you cannot build it.
Right.
So you have to learn how to make this stuff. It's not any different than any other craft or business. You need to learn from the professionals.
And what's your favorite part about, working with glass and light?
Well, I think my favorite part is, and the most intimidating part, is the design end. I mean, everything starts with an idea. And basically what we did was we took interesting ideas and made them into light.
How did that whole culture of doing that, bring things to light, come to Route 66? Because it's so quintessential Route 66.
Well,
right?
The neon industry became a very real industry in the 1930s. And it became such a great form of outdoor advertising that could be built on such a large scale that it just rapidly filled the landscape, the nighttime landscape, with lighting. And that's how Route 66 evolved into this lighting chain that it became, because as people traveled Route 66, especially at night, the lighting became a source of comfort. If it was a restaurant or a motel, you could easily find and identify the place. And plus, it made everybody feel good about the lighting. They like it. The lighting is beautiful. It's all glass. It's all electricity. It's gases that exist in the universe. I like to say there's nothing artificial about it. We use natural gas to heat the tubes, to soften them, to shape them. And we use electricity to make them light up.
How do you get the different colors? That's one thing that I can't wrap my head around.
Well, the colors primarily come from two gases that are in the Nobel gas category. So most neon tubes actually aren't really neon. because neon are the red tubes.
Right.
But to make things simple, we just categorized all tubes as neon tubes.
At this point, I'm definitely intrigued by the intricacies of this craft, and I convinced Robert to let me take a sneak peek at his process in the workshop and back.
And this is the ribbon burner. That's where you make your circles.
Oh. Whoa.
And these are the hand torches.
It's like you're a magician. And now for my last performance.
Right. Keep them full all the time.
Right.
This is the traditional way of fabricating neon. It's been like this for almost 100 years. Let's make sure it don't crack. Huh?
Oh yeah. Although if it breaks, it breaks. It's meant to be. But you're a professional. You've done
Are you
this
getting
before.
nervous?
Oh no, I'm not. I trust you.
Because I go through this every day,
I know.
24 hours a day. All hand-blown glass is imperfect. There are some pieces that a glass blower might make in his lifetime, and he remembers them where he feels that they were just perfect.
Right.
And they were kind of like highlights for him. But we all know that it's very difficult to repeat that again.
Right. And the survey says.
It's not perfect, but it'll work. It'll look good.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how it's done. Outside of his shop, Robert has neon all around town. So check out his neon arches on Central and Nob Hill, and going into Albuquerque's West Mesa. And if you want some neon art for your home, Robert has multiple completed pieces in his showroom for sale. Up next, we're going to show you how to get to Japan on Route 66. Sign up to receive monthly newsletters about events and happenings around the state at newmexico.org. And now, here's another New Mexico True Treasure.
We think the Botanic Garden is a jewel. We have something for everybody, no matter what season they come. Sometimes people think, oh, in the winter, there's nothing going on. There is something going on. In the winter, we have our indoor shows. You move into spring, we've got a profusion of bulbs, a riot of color. You move into summer, and that's when our annuals are absolutely at their best around here, as well as our xeric landscape. And then in the fall, of course, you've got the leaves changing colors, but you also have our Fall Festival of Flowers with all these mums, oranges, mauves. It's just, no matter what time you come here, there's something going on at our garden. We really are a very diverse botanic garden, so the community's represented here. We have the older people, the seniors, but we also have families and young children. And young children especially love our garden because we have a lot of child-centered specialty gardens and activities going on. Just at the front of the Botanic Garden, for instance, we have a garden railroad, but it's interactive. Kids get to push the button and see the trains go around. We also have our Children's Fantasy Garden, which has a 2-story high pumpkin that children just shriek with delight. And this time of year especially, people make a beeline often for our butterfly pavilion because we have hundreds and hundreds of butterflies that are flitting around in this really nice, informal, porch-like environment, and people love that. Our newest exhibit also is our Dragonfly Sanctuary Pond. We just opened that last fall, and that is a pond where we're attracting a lot of native dragonflies and damselflies. So, you know, that gets people to stop and kind of appreciate the beauty that's New Mexico. And so as you wander around, you keep seeing new things that maybe you didn't see last time. We have at our very far end of the garden our Japanese garden. And people sometimes think, oh, I've seen Japanese gardens before. They've never seen one like our Japanese garden, because our Japanese garden, it has all the traditional Japanese elements, but it's done with a Western feeling. So it's not a copy of anything you'd see in Tokyo. It's very, very New Mexico. We love to blow people away when they come to our garden. We have a view of the Sandias. We're right alongside the Rio Grande. We have mature cottonwoods. We have beautiful xeric gardens. No matter where you go, no matter what route you take in our garden, you're going to be surprised. We can be a very meditative place here. There are nooks where other people don't know, like in the Curandera garden, there's a bench that people sit in. They have their lunch. It's real quiet, it's real secluded. You want to come here for a respite, just a time out from your busy urban life, we've got that here too. And you can find something here for everyone, no matter what mood you're in. We just surpass all expectations when they come to the garden, because people tell us time and time again we're one of the best places they visited in Albuquerque. And we get that literally from visitors who come from all over the world. I'm very proud of our garden, I'm proud of what our staff has done, and I'm proud of the reputation that we get person by person who comes through our gates and leaves knowing we're a pretty good garden.
In our first 2 seasons, we've taken you all over the land of enchantment, to places we felt you would want to see and experience. Now it's your turn to share with us your New Mexico true treasures. All you have to do is get your smartphone and send an email or a 15-second video about why you think that place is a New Mexico true treasure. Who knows, we may even ask you to show us in person. Email your video to truetreasure@cliffdwellerdigital.com. Surprise and amaze us. We want to show our viewers your favorite spot and why you love New Mexico. So as you can tell, the Mother Road has plenty of adventures and great people to share them with. So with that being said, what are you doing next weekend?